Pre-Welling away, Gary, you said after Tuesday you wanted the quality to go back again with the effort. How much of that job is already done in terms of what you'll have done since?
Ask me that question again, can you? Because
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Well, obviously the quality is what you want to get back into your play. The work that goes in on the training ground and with the players, how far are you on that journey? Obviously, because there's still a couple of days to go before Saturday.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you're asking me about that, only a day after a day off. So we haven't done anything right this minute. But I think the big thing that these lads have is how they handle adversity now. How we all handle adversity. Now, normally, a draw and a loss in 23 games is not adversity. But when they both come together, then you have to look at it and say, well, okay, we've played two decent teams on two poor pitches, but what we can do about it, and I think a lot of the improvement has got to come in here, because I think it'll be a mental thing at the end of the day. It'll be it's not a physical thing. The lads are still trying, but they've got to put that effort in with their ability in the danger areas, and that's really where we've lacked in the last couple of games. I think that we've done all right in the defending third. We still only let one goal in the last 5 games, and even we scored that. We've sort of commandeered the midfield, really, as far as possession's concerned. We've just got to get on the end of quality balls into the box, and that's really what we've got to work on out there. But it's in here, and it's that mental state where someone's got to want to absolutely aggressively go and get on the end of that ball. Someone's got to aggressively have that shot. Someone's got to aggressively put that ball in. It's that side of it that we probably, in the last couple of games, I've not seen enough of, and that's what we've got. But that's a mental thing. That's controlled aggression is what's needed to score the goals that we need at the moment.
Can you work out why that's happened? Because the one thing we do know about these players is they do care, and there's no way they'd have done it deliberately.
Oh yeah, no way. They wouldn't be here, would they? They certainly wouldn't be anywhere around the team. These lads have got to have a personality off the pitch, which has got to be exactly how they are, because they're all good lads. But they've got to have a different personality on the pitch, and sometimes that nice boy next door comes out a little bit in our games on occasions. Fortunately, we got the quality to get over that. But then every now and again, and it is really every now and again, that little boy loss comes out onto the pitch and doesn't quite perform. It's not performing. It's not showing that aggression to score. That's really what it is. It's the intent to score. That's the whole crux of football. Don't matter if it's a short ball, a long ball, a cross ball, a high ball, low, whatever it is. It's got to be that intent to score. And I just feel I just need to remind them about that.
And presumably that's everyone, not just the strikers, midfielders, defenders going up for set pieces.
Exactly. We've got to look at our set plays, because we lost a couple of our stalwarts at set plays, Downsy and Dickey, Pelly even, and so we're a little bit limp, and that's probably the word I'll use this morning to get them mentally wound up. We look limp in our set plays at the moment, and we've got to do a lot better.
How's Dylan?
Struggling, I'm afraid. Spoke to him last night. He's absolutely gutted, because he's been fantastic all season. Really has. He's really been a part of it. But he's going to be out more long term than short term. It's a medial ligament tear, which is at least 6 weeks anyway, and maybe longer than that, because they've got to check to see whether he doesn't need an operation. The ground went from under him, as it was like all sandy in that area. I don't know if you saw it, but there were 2 areas with 2 sand pits, and it twisted his knee as he went to turn. So unfortunately, we've lost him. We've very, very quickly got someone in to replace him, because anyway we need another goalie, and we're very pleased with the one we got in. It's not happened yet, but it's happening. So you'll all be the second to know after our club secretary has done the arrangements as far as the loan's concerned. But it's a goalkeeper from the Championship club. Not many people will know of him because he's 21, but he's a good lad, and he's known by a few of our lads as well. So that's good, and he's a excellent goalkeeper.
And let's face it, not many people had heard of Dylan Phillips before he came here, and he's done all right, hasn't he?
No, well, exactly. Same as you lot. Not many have heard about you lot before, but you're doing all right, I know. But you're dead right. Dylan's been fantastic for us. He really has, and that's the disappointing side of it. That you wanted him to be a part of the end game, as it were, because he was real Cheltenhamified, as I say, which is good. But he'll be around, a bit like Dickie. You know, Dickie was at the game Saturday and Tuesday night. They want to be a part of it because they've been a massive part of it, both of them, and hopefully they stick around. And you know, if there's a miraculous recovery come the end of the season, then who knows? There might be a few games for Dylan.
You said James Dayton probably needs a rest. Players obviously waiting in the wings to come back in. I suppose it's a symptom of being a team at the top of the table that players sometimes have to wait that little bit longer to get their chance.
Yeah, they do, but they have to be ready to get their chance. We're a little bit short on numbers, so we are looking for 1 or 2. Amari was on the bench, and I brought him there to be a leader, if you like. He was unfortunate because I was about to bring him on to give him his 10 minutes that the physios said that he could have, when we knew that Dylan was struggling. So we had one more sub, had to put the sub goalie on, so we couldn't bring him on. But it's getting the blokes back. You know, it's getting the squad back and more people to choose from. And at that point, the competition is there again. With Dates, we thought his hamstring had gone yesterday, but the news on him was he had a dead leg, and it sort of accentuated the pain in the hamstring for some reason, and it's not totally gone or anything. It's like just a couple of weeks with him, so we thought we might have lost him for the rest of the season as well, but he's just a couple of weeks. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, I think it did, just about, yeah. Good news there. Yeah. Well, and obviously you played them not long ago, and I suppose you'd settle for another 2-0 win again.
Cool, not much. You settle for a 1-0 win, wouldn't you? The next games are very important, as I said, in this adversity. We got to come back. We got to find ourselves. We got to find our game plan again. We got to find our goals. I've been in this situation a million times before, and no season is ever cut and dried. There's always icebergs. There's always things that you have to work on, sort out. You're dealing with personalities, 20-odd personalities. You're dealing with pressure. Can people take the pressure? So I've got to say, I've had all that. I know that this is normal, and it is. And now it looks like we've just got to be better than one other team, and that's what we're going to really work hard to produce. Because the one thing I can tell you is that every one of these lads wants that promotion.
Thank you. Good luck.
No problem.
You mentioned icebergs. There's been rather too many along the way, haven't they? But you still seem to be just about negotiating them very well.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what we have to do. But it's not icebergs that we put in the way of ourselves. You know, it's not like somebody misdemeanor or something, and misdemeanored or let us down in any sort of personal way. They're things. It's injuries with us at the moment, and our squad being a little bit taken away from us. But as the chairman reminded me straight after the game, which is good motivation, because who motivates the motivator? Well, the board of directors have got to do that. But and he did, and he said correctly that we're still 1 point ahead, top of the league, and we're not games behind or anything. And we'll see what the opposition does in the week, see the next 3 games, and see where we are there. So you can't be too down about these things. And again, I've got that experience that I know that you've got to deal with the loss, and then you move on.
Financially, there's the support there to bring players in if you need to for this final push.
Yeah, there is. Those players have got to be available, of course. To be better than what you've already got is very difficult because we are top of the league. People that we would need are needed by their Football League clubs. They don't want to loan them out, they need them as well because their loan situation changes at the end of March. So everybody tends to keep their players, unless it's a young lad that's third goalkeeper or third right back or something, But I'm happy with this group. I am, and as we get these major injuries, we're having to cover for them. Dan Ullman came in for Amari. Asa and Rowie came in when Pelly got his injury. I know they came in slightly earlier than that, but we had cover for that. And of course we brought in Burgess when Downsy went. So we've made our changes when we've needed to, and get a couple of wins under our belt very quickly. And this little, is it a blip? A draw and a loss in 23 games? I don't know. But,
it's a blip by your own standards that
you've
set.
Standards, that's right, exactly. So, but it won't take long to get them back to winning ways.
How far away do you think Pell and Dickie are? Obviously, Dickie at the game the other night. I suppose you had a little conversation with him.
We did. Not too far, but with Dickie, it's up to his parent club to decide. Dickie would have come back 3 weeks ago, but the parent club have to decide when he's ready. The physios are under pressure there. They don't want him breaking down again. So I suspect next week might be a time when he would be fit enough. He's got to do some more ball work, etc. Amari's joining in with training. Pelly will be joining in training today. The physios told me. That doesn't mean to say he's ready yet. It means that at least we can have a look at him. In normal circumstances, neither of them would be fit enough, especially Amari, because he's been out for so long, although the physios have worked him very hard, and he's worked very hard. But it's that sharpness, whereas Pelly hasn't been out that long, and hopefully the minute his injury he feels confident with, then he'll be fine, he'll be fit.
With the goalkeeping situation, obviously bringing one in, is that to compete with Callum? For to be
we're gonna have 3 goalies then, and you've got to have the 3 goalies going into March, because you can bring a goalie in after the deadline, but everybody's got to be injured. And do you remember the escape to victory thing where they broke the goalie's arms and make sure that he
wasn't
didn't
even
play?
a goalkeeper, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was Kevin Callahan. Wasn't it? I knew him at the time. But it's a good film, that, isn't it? And not many of these would have seen that. Perhaps I'll need to show them that in adversity. But so we need the 3 goalies anyway. So of course, while all 3 are here, they'll be competing. But very difficult to get a loan now from a championship club, and that championship club allow you not to play him. So at the end of the day, that goalkeeper's got to play, and. By the time this all gets out, I'd have spoken to the other 2 goalkeepers at the moment.
Excellent.